Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Referral Show. This is show 2. It's Friday, August 28th, 2020. I'm Erik Mickelson, and with my co-host, Ken Bynes. The Referral Sender links Pierce County businesses with audiences like you. Our goal is to ensure small local businesses are here for good, not going anywhere. So welcome, Ken. So what's been going on the past week with yourself?
Homeschooling. I am now homeschooling my kids because school is about to start again. So, making sure they're waking up on a timely manner, giving them breakfast, making sure they eat healthy now, no more junk food and staying up late at night, which I'm loving it.
Do you have a little classroom set up for the kids?
Actually, we did. We just set something up yesterday. We got desks, we got shelves, bookshelves, we got printers for the kids. So it's pretty cool. And we got personal laptops for all of them. So we're really going to take it serious this year.
Cool. So what did they do for PE classes? Do you have them out there running around the block?
So that's what my plan was. I was going to have them at least run like a block or run like 2 blocks around. But Rose, she has them run back and forth in the yard, make them do some push-ups, sit-ups, stay healthy.
Got it. Well, cool. Sounds like you're going to have a productive weekend, a productive another, 6-9 months.
Yeah. Don't remind me.
Yeah. Well, cool. So.
Yeah. How you been, Erik? How was your week?
Oh, good. Well, my little dilemma tonight is my wife is inviting all her nurse educator friends over to our house for a party here at 4 o'clock. The only problem is I built this patio cover and I decided to paint it myself. And I chose the wrong paint and my wife is extremely upset. So I tried sanding it down. Let me show you what it looks like. I'll show you what we're up against here.
Let me see.
Okay, let's see if I can bring the screen up here. Okay, so there it is right there. Is this post right here is she did not want this brown stain. And as you can see, I'm trying to sand it off. It's stained, so I can't get paint remover. So it's into the grain. So pretty much I have to sand the whole pole down. Yeah. Right. So after this show, I have to figure out how to make this pole like white and nice and clean. So
that's going to be a lot.
Yeah, or else I'm going to have a very, very bad weekend. So that's what's happened with me. So wish me the best of luck.
Keep your head up.
Oh, shit. So anyway, that's what's happened with me. So I would like to let everybody know as we have our first guest of the show. This is a legend of Fife for over 70 years. It's Mr. Ken Luce of Luce Associates Attorneys, and he is Mr. Fife, Mr. Know-It-All. So just some of the background on him. He's been here. He's a Fife High School graduate of 1957 to Willamette University of 1967 to get his law degree. His community and civic activities are just amazing. He's part of the Washington Youth Academy. He's the board of the directors, president of the Sergeant Patrick Gass Association. He's got honors from the U.S. Navy Superior Civilian Service Award. And believe it or not, and hopefully you haven't seen him in this form, is he was the Municipal Court Judge of Fife. So really? You didn't meet Mr. Luce at that time, and the City Prosecutor of Fife. So he has a lot of awards under his belt. So without further ado, I'd like to bring on screen Mr. Ken Luce. Here we go.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Luce.
How you been?
A privilege to have you as guest number 1.
Well, thank you kindly.
Very cool. So as we understand, is you're Mr. Fife of 70 years. And without getting out my history book, I'd like to ask you, so what was life back 70, 60 years ago in Fife? What was going on? I know there's a bunch of farms and all that, but what else has happened in the community?
Well, it was a little different. Generally, there was an home store up in Edgewood where Einer would support everybody during the Depression and give them food to live on and credit. And then you come down the hill, and there used to be Metke's flower shop across the street from your building. And then the Yatsuis and the Dakas and the Mizukami's. Bob Mizukami was a Japanese gardener. World War II 442 member, Bronze Star winner, first mayor of Fife.
Wow.
And a lot of things were going on. We had companies here, but it was all farmland with the Atsuis and the Shimizus. And so it was a very peaceful rural town.
Wow, that is cool. So what was Fife High School like growing up?
It was pretty big. I had 76 in my graduating class.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a little different. We all had shotgun, not all, but a number of us had shotguns in our cars that we'd go hunting ducks or after school. And the community was such that it was low key. And there was one particular person, we used to have Friday night fights.
Oh boy.
On TV. So we'd go to his house. And even though we were slightly underage, we would have grappo, which he made. Not very much, but we used to taste it, and that was big time for us. Teachers were different, and the FFA program was exceptionally well, and Mr. Omstead was great. Belknap was our principal, and everything was going very, very good.
Wow.
Wow.
That is cool. So, and the poodle dog was still there, right?
No, the poodle dog had been there for years, and the Pickwick was there, was the people in Andres was a market that used to have, and they used to finance the farmers in Fife. So Puget Sound National Bank decided, well, let's move to Fife and build a branch, and so that let them off the hook with the farmers.
Wow.
And then during World War II, of course, we had the sadness of the Japanese being removed, and we had a lot of local people and Tacoma people that helped some of the Japanese farmers out. By paying the mortgages or paying some of their bills for them and taxes so they wouldn't lose their land, which is a story unto itself. And we had basically three parts to Fife. We had the Japanese farmers, we had the Swiss dairy, and with Oakwood Dairy and the Ambules on the corner of 20th and 54th, and the City Fountain in Fife was originally a watering place for horses when you come into Fife, right in the middle of the intersection. They moved it.
Yeah.
And then we had Colonial Gardens, which was the Italians in the vegetable business, which was quite an organization. And that basically was Fife.
Wow. That is a very, very cool history.
So, Mr. Luce, so that watering hole where the horses used to drink, ain't that now positioned like here in the beginning of 20th Street by the swimming pool?
That's where it's at.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that was kind of like a roundabout too. I saw some photos.
That's correct. They would come out to Fife and water their horses and then move on. And there was just a central place there. There used to be a ladder company down there. Okay. Small businesses, nothing major.
Wow.
But it was a very peaceful town, very quiet town. We had, I think, one, maybe two people on our police department at the time, which was incorporated, I think, in 1957.
Okay. Well, so that brings me to my next question. Since you had two on the police force, so what did you kids get away with that we could never do today? You mentioned shotguns.
Well, let's just say that occasionally, if you violated the liquor law, you would wind up at home in front of your parents with a police officer speaking to them about your conduct. That would not occur again if you got caught.
Right.
Well, cool. Thank you for the history lesson. If you guys want any more history, the Fife history has a Facebook group. You guys can also follow out there. So the next question, the next topic with Mr. Luce is kind of want to go over your community involvement. You have such a long resume, but there's a couple that really stand out. The first one is the Washington Youth Academy. You're the board of the directors. What is the Washington Youth Academy all about?
Well, I helped found the Washington Youth Academy, which is a National Guard run program. And it is a program designed for kids that are not doing well in school, that may be, say, a junior with freshman high school credits. Mm-hmm. And there's no way for them to make it up as easy as it is to go to the Washington Youth Academy. It's a high school credit retrieval program. It is a 22-week program. It's basically boot camp. where they bring you up to date and try to bring you current and recover your high school credits and graduate either into the technical or vocational, or some actually go to college with scholarships.
Wow.
It's the most wonderful program I've ever seen. It's not an alternative to jail. It is a program that is designed for the kids that started to go sideways, either with drugs or with liquor or beer. And it's to try and bring them back on track. It takes a willing child to do it. And the success we've had is remarkable. We'll start with 150 kids probably twice a year. And the graduation rate is probably maybe 120 to 130 of them.
Wow.
And it is basically teaches them to restructure their life, to get their high school credits back on, how to study, how to do things, and how to be a productive citizen.
That's cool. That's cool.
So if a parent wants to get their kids into this program, what do they have to do?
Well, they should call the Washington Youth Academy in Bremerton, and it's free.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. And another organization, you're the president of the Sergeant Patrick Glass, the AUSA subchapter. What's the Patrick Glass Association all about?
Well, Sergeant Patrick Glass was the last surviving member of the Lewis and Clark expedition that came out here. And the AUSA is the Association of the United States Army. And what they have done is created chapters and subchapters to sponsor military units throughout the United States. We were fortunate to be assigned to the 2nd Battalion of the 75th Rangers at JBLM. And what we do is we try to provide for them some extra opportunities so that they can get off the base, get into social activities such as going to the fair, going to Wild Waves, going to different places at no cost to them to help them out. We occasionally have a barbecue or a baseball game, and the City of Fife, Milton, and Edgewood have been very, very supportive of them. They've given a lot to help us, a lot to help the soldiers. And these young men have been deployed like 29 or 30 different times.
Wow.
And there was one incident that came to mind. We were at the Milton Memorial Day, and I asked this young man who was in the color guard if he would like to go have a beer or something. And he said, "Sir, thank you, sir." "No, sir." And I said, "Why not?" He says, "I'm only 20. And it didn't quite make sense that we could deploy him to Afghanistan or Iraq or wherever they go and yet not have this opportunity, but that's our laws, and so that's what happens. Yeah. They're family men, their families are great. Right now we have a project building, and if anyone's interested to contact us, we're building them a barbecue, outdoor barbecue for them, their families, so that they can have on-base gatherings with their families and children and everybody, so as to keep it costs down for them so that they can enjoy themselves and have entertainment.
Oh, so when the Rangers are out of the military, do they help out with this involvement too, or do they come back and help you at all?
We have had great support from the Rangers that have retired. Okay. Their Sergeant Major is a very, very active member of our chapter, and individual members do a lot. You cannot explain the hardship these kids go through by being taken from their families, taken from their situation. And so we try to help the families when they're gone. We have welcome back packages. We've had, sometimes we send them tobacco, chewing tobacco. Well, why chewing tobacco? Because they're out there and they can't have lights. They can't be seen.
Yeah.
And so a little help here and there is always appreciated, and they're very appreciative and very cooperative with us.
Very cool.
That's
wow. That's awesome what you're doing out there in the community, Mr. Luce.
Yeah.
So my next question is, what are some tips to finding a lawyer? I know most people, it's like going to the dentist when they're trying to find a lawyer. It's like the last moment and it's not very fun. So how do we find, if you've never found an attorney, what are some tips that a person can go through on trying to find an attorney that's reputable?
Well, the better thing for people to do, and what I rely upon a lot, is other client referral. And the reason for that is that sometimes attorneys have different viewpoints in looking at clients. We look at a client as a person that's called me as to what can I do for him and what is it that it's going to take to get it done. Some attorneys look at a client and say, no, his problem is going to be too expensive and I don't want to handle it, or I'm not going to get enough money out of it. So I would recommend that you get a referral from somebody as a friend that's been to one and they're satisfied with their services, or you have a business that you go to and ask them possibly who do they use. An attorney owes you 5 things: tell you what your problems are, your alternatives, what is their recommendation, how long is it going to cost, and how long is it going to take.
Sure.
I can't solve your problems without investing my time and that of my office. But you need to know, is this problem worth something for you that you want to do? And is it going to be financially beneficial to you? And that decision is the client's. And so what you need to do is to find an attorney, hopefully through somebody else that can refer them, or possibly another, and be sure that they do what they tell you they're going to do and they don't do what they tell you you're not going to do. And the reason for that is that too many people make broad statements and don't fill in the details. And at the end of the problem, they're mad at you. And so that doesn't build good clients. And I've been at it 50 plus years in Fife, served a lot of people in the city of Fife. I'm on, I think, my 4th generation of clients, starting from their grandpas or back then. And so what we're concerned about is getting it done in such a way as that you walk out of my office satisfied. If you are, you're going to send me in 10 clients. If you're not, you're going to cost me probably 20.
Sure.
And you can't have that in a successful business today. Now, the practice law has changed. With this COVID, we're starting to do a lot of things over the internet, so that we used to come in, introduce ourselves, and be made aware of what the problems are, and then start making decisions. We're now doing it a lot by telephone or by Zoom. And we introduce ourselves, tell them who we are, what we think they need, what their alternatives are, and what's it going to take, and how long it's going to cost them, or how much is it going to cost them. And that's important, because many decisions are made on the financial outcome of certain cases. And if it's not worth it, then don't undertake it. And it's my obligation to you to let you know that this may not turn out like you want. And so that way you're satisfied, and I've served my client. So all I can say is that in today's day and age, contact with others, with that person, his reliability, the quality of his service, and those kinds of things, you need to know, because we need to know who the client is and what his wishes are. Like the single most important document a person needs in today's world is a durable power of attorney. Most people don't have them. Well, the reason for a durable power of attorney is so that you can avoid a guardianship should you become unable to handle your own affairs. Now, by that, I mean you might be involved in a car wreck through no fault of your own and unable to do anything. You're going to have a guardianship. It's going to cost thousands of dollars to set it up. You're going to be in court every year having everything approved. And all of that can be avoided by having a simple, durable power of attorney, naming who you choose. The control is in your family. The control is with who you want, and the courts are outside of the investment or outside of the process completely.
Yeah.
Many people, when we start to visit them, come in and they don't realize they have circumstances. They may have an elderly parent that's passed away, and what do I do? Or somebody that needs assistance. And so we have the financial powers of attorney, and we have the medical powers of attorney. The reason we now have medical powers of attorney is because we need to know what they want to have done should they become in a permanent comatose vegetative state. And by that, I mean HIPAA is going to control who has access to your medical records, who can find out anything about you. And if you tried to buy a prescription, if you tried to get the medical information, you can't, unless you're appointed an agent. So we have a document that we appoint someone as their medical power of attorney and their agent. And then you have to make a choice when people are in a stage where their lives are shortened, you have to decide, do you want your agent to use their discretion? Do you want them to maximum treatment, or do you want them to withhold treatment? And these things need to be discussed in the family ahead of time, because circumstances are such that we never know what's happening, and we've got to get them in place to save the money, keep control of the family, and keep everybody happy. Now, one of the things I've noticed lately, that I see more attempted financial abuse of older people, vulnerable adults, in a week than I have in the 52 years I've been practicing law.
Huh.
Parents are constantly being subjected to abuse, either transfer the house or put my name on the bank account. Many people don't realize that if you have a bank account and you put your child's name on it, if it is held as joint tenants with right of survivorship, that bank account balance goes to them when that person pays. So you got to be careful that you're aware of this. Other people come in and don't realize that all they have is a house and 1 or 2 kids, where there's a process out now we have called transfer on death deed. Transfer on death deed, you record it, gives the kids a house. You can mortgage your house, you can sell your house, you can change the deed anytime you want to. But should a person pass on a transfer of death deed, it automatically goes to that person, and there's no probate. Yeah. Also, if you're a married couple with not too many assets, there's a community property agreement that avoids probate. So these tools are all out there. They just need to find a competent attorney in their area that they can trust and get them done. And just as an aside, Washington has an inheritance tax. In some cases, I think it's 2.3 million exemption, and the feds are up to 11 or 12 million dollars now on tax-free. So taxes for most people are not a concern, but inheritance taxes can be a concern, and there's variable ways to avoid them if you do it ahead of time.
Okay. Is there a certain age that you should do this, or just as soon as possible?
Well, I have to recommend in today's day and age with like the COVID virus and all this, that at least you have the powers of attorney, because that keeps control in the family and minimizes the long-term expense. Okay. You may have situations on wills on who should get custody of the children should you pass, or you may have a special needs child, or you may have a set of circumstances where kids need education, but then you want it to go to somebody else. So depending upon who you are, what you want to do, what your family circumstances are, and what your wishes are, there's so many broad alternatives. You need to be well aware of what's happening and how to get it done, because the only one that's going to benefit from it, if you don't, is me.
At least you're honest.
Right.
Well, cool. Well, thank you, Ken. So my next question is, what is your superhero moment? What have you gone beyond and above for a client, Ken? You mentioned something about the heart of the game.
Well, the heart of a game was a story. It's a movie, documentary made by Ward Serrell about a young lady in Seattle. She was a black girl, and she unfortunately got pregnant and dropped out of high school and went to continuation school. Now, the Washington Interscholastic Activities Association is the controlling body of the athletics in the state. And they have certain rules where you're allowed to participate in high school sports for a maximum number of years. Well, by her dropping out of school, she missed a year of sports. So when she reapplied, they denied her an extra year of eligibility because she dropped out. So we sued the WIAA on her behalf. She went to Roosevelt High School. She, the coach told her team that if she plays on any game, we will have to forfeit that game if they lose the lawsuit. So Roosevelt played the entire season with her on the team. They not only won the district championship in Seattle, they went on to the state tournament in Tacoma and won it.
Wow.
So the WIAA then dropped. I got a restraining order against them from enforcing it against her, the school, and they dropped their resistance to our lawsuit, and they won the state championship. And our main argument was twofold. One, the WIAA was an institution that supported having a woman terminate her pregnancy, because had she terminated her pregnancy, she would not have lost her year of eligibility. So they support abortions. And the second thing, the rule is unconstitutional because it applies to the woman and penalizing her for having the child and not for the man.
Wow.
So she was very happy. She went on, she got Division I college scholarships, and I believe she's now coaching in Seattle.
Wow.
Wow.
And there's a movie out, you said?
That's called Heart of the Game.
Okay.
And you know what my fee was?
Free. How much?
The same as I'm getting paid today. Nothing.
$1. Oh, cool. It's so nice to have you on the show, Mr. Luce. And learning everything about attorneys, a little history of Fife. It's very enjoyable. And you're guest number 1, which is even better. So,
well, I would tell you one story that you told me not to say, and that is there are only 3 attorney jokes, 3 lawyer jokes. The rest are true.
Okay. Throw in a cougar joke. I'm a WSU cougar. Ken's a husky. So
yeah, go ahead and hit us.
The cougar joke.
No, I have a hard time with cougar jokes because every time I say one, I get in trouble. But as you know, the most common word spoken by a cougar to a husky.
What's that?
Welcome to McDonald's.
Okay. All right, Mr. Luce, we're going to wrap this one up really, really fast. So it's a pleasure to you having us on the show. We learned a lot and stuff. So let me sign you out here, and then Ken and I will just finish up the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, Ken.
That was funny.
That was a great show. We got some history in Fife. Tips on finding an attorney. It was perfect. So
a lot of history I didn't know about Fife too. Like with the horse water bowl being in a different area, I always thought that was over here by the swimming pool here on.
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting.
There's some history behind that.
Yeah.
Well,
part of the game.
We're going to wrap up this show, but we would love people to come on the show, right, Ken?
Yeah. We really want you guys to be part of the show because we're engaging with the community. So, we want to really help you guys spread your names, spread your marketing, and just get the community to know who you are. So just send us an email. You can send me an email at Ken. Ken at nwcustomapparel.com, or you can hit up Erik at nwcustomapparel.com. And then, we will send you our link. You can sign up. Let us know how we can help you. Ain't that right, Erik?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're going to try this one more time, our little sign off right here. So we have to do this in unison, Ken. So
let's get it.
Thank you. And so we want to make sure you are here for good. Okay. We'll see you guys next Friday.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.